Welcome to today's Emunah Minute. This week we had the incredible privilege to read Parshas Korach, and it's a story that we're all familiar with. Korach leads a rebellion against Moshe Rabbeinu, challenging Moshe. But when you challenge Moshe, in essence, you challenge HaKadosh Baruch Hu as well. And he challenges Moshe by saying, essentially, you've grabbed too much. It was a power grab. You took the reins of leadership for yourself. You gave the high priest of the Kohen Gadol to Aaron. And the truth is, it's not right. Kulanu Kedoshim, we're all holy. We're all holy, so why should it be that you reign over everyone? And Rashi asks such a fascinating question. Rashi says, Korach shepikeach haya mara'al shtus zu. Korach, who was so smart, he was so wise, he was so incredible. What did he see to engage in this foolishness, in this craziness, to go ahead and literally rebel against Moshe, which is in essence a rebellion against God? And Rashi says, Korach Einov hita aso. Einov hito. His eye deceived him. His eye deceived him. Meaning what? And Rashi goes on to say that Korach Sabarach HaKodesh, he saw prophetically that he was going to have a great descendant, none other than the prophet Samuel Shmuel Hanavi. And he realized, if I'm going to have this great descendant, I have to grab the reins, I have to make it happen. How else is a Shmuel going to come into this world if I don't do my part? So according to Rashi, the entire rebellion of Korach is a misunderstanding of his destiny. He sees greatness in his future, and he thinks that in order to actualize that greatness, he needs to rebel against the leadership of Moshe Rabbeinu. But the truth is, the wording of Rashi is very interesting, because Rashi says, Einav hito, his eye deceived him. And I've often thought that what Rashi is trying to convey to us is perhaps something a little bit more nuanced. There are two different kinds of people in this world. There are many more than two different kinds of people, but for our purposes, two different kinds of people in this world. There are people who are able to appreciate what they have, and there are people who are hyper-focused on what they lack. There are some people who could tell you every single thing that's broken, deficient, and not working in their lives. But yet, they're totally oblivious to their blessings. And then there are other people who acknowledge the fact that they don't have everything, but Lamaisa, in reality, they appreciate the beautiful brachos they do possess. You see, Korach had everything. Korach had everything in this world, if you think about it. Korach had holiness, he was a holy individual. The proof to that was he had Ruach HaKodesh, he had prophecy. He saw that he was going to have a descendant, Shmuel. He had wealth, he had prominence, he had prestige, he had standing, he had alamailas, as they say, so many incredible things. There was one thing he didn't have, or maybe two things he didn't have. He wasn't the leader of Klal Yisrael, and he wasn't the Kohen Gadol. Dear friends, there's only one leader. There's only one Moshe Rabbeinu. There's only one Aaron Kohen. It's not the pshat that there's multiple positions to fill. There's one of each of these positions. Okay, he didn't have those two things. Those are the two things that Korach didn't have. But he had everything else in life. And yet, the profound failure and mistake of Korach is that he became hyper-focused and hyper-obsessed over that which he didn't have. And that caused him to be blind to all of the beautiful brachos he indeed possessed. And that's what Rashi's saying. Korach shepikeach haya, Korach, you were so wise. Mara lishtosu, how did you engage in such foolishness? And the answer is Einov hito. His vision was skewed. He had the wrong outlook, the wrong perspective. Instead of seeing all that he had, he became hyper-focused on that which he lacked. And what an incredible and profound lesson for us. Because, dear friends, there is no person who has everything. There is no person whose life is exactly the way they need it to be. Every bracha, every this, every that, perfectly full. No one has it. No one has it. So you have to make a choice in life. Do I become the kind of person who, like Korach, is hyper-obsessed with all the stuff that's broken, all the stuff that's unfair, all the stuff that should have gone a different way? Or do I choose to take a step back and to say, yes, despite the fact that I don't have everything and not everything is perfect, I have so much. And instead of spending my time focusing on all that I lack, let me spend the time focusing and giving thanks to Hashem for all that I have. Korach was a good man with a flawed and broken perspective. We must take such care not to repeat that same mistake. It is true that all of us are missing something, but let's become the kind of people who aren't focused on what is absent, but are instead able to focus on all the beautiful brachos we have. Wishing everyone a wonderful day.